for content creators, videographers, everything, man. Let's grow something special right here, homegrown, Chester, Pennsylvania. Let's go. Let's get it down, man. It's your boy Uncle P reminding you, man. CMPRadio.net, cultivating mature positivity.
La 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 la. Behind me, see my tears fall down. So many things have happened. The years go by and the friends you have for no more. Jealousy and envy. Wow, because you keep on grinding. People wanna see you fail, and although you fall, just move on. Crabs in a barrel, want what you have, try to pull you down. Don't wanna work, just wanna take. Now you're so faded. Hate on me. The more you hate, I'll get lifted. Hate on me. The more you hate, I'll get lifted. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la. People come, people go. Where they at, I don't know. Liabilities, your creativity, assets I need. They give energy, but every now and then the ones you think are real turned out to be sneaky snakes. You gotta laugh to keep from crying. Can't let things get me down. Put a smile on my face, stay in my lane, finish the race. Hate on me. The more you hate, but every now and then.
Oh shoot, I had my phone popping. Hello. Hey everybody out there in Facebook land, how y'all doing tonight? I was kind of lost in the intro music, man. I just love that song. It's like it gives me so much energy. It's hate on me. The more you hate, I get lifted. So it don't matter how you try to pull me down. It don't matter what you do to slander my character. You know what I mean? You could try to shit on my name. Guess what? It don't matter. Just make me better. But I'm going to take all of that energy and everything that I'm feeling in this moment. I'm going to reel it back in. I'm going to introduce y'all to my guest tonight, Miss Christina McIntyre. Say hi to the people.
Hi, everybody.
They saying hi back. You just can't hear them. I always talk to them and wait for them to respond. So anyway, as I typically do, as I always do, I had you on here like the week before last week, 2 weeks ago. Give everybody a rundown of what you got coming up.
Okay.
And tell them where they can find you. Tell them what they do. Tell them about your show. Tell them about everything. Boom. Go.
Okay. So this Saturday, March the 27th, from 4 to 8, 517 Avenue of the States, I will be hosting an event called Create Your Reality. I am hosting this event in order to collect items for the homeless. Tickets are still available. They are only $10. If you decide to purchase a ticket at the door, it will go up to $20. So you can cash at me at $BECOMEYOURC Cash App, or you can pay me through PayPal. I will have to send you an invoice first in order for that to work. Definitely coming out. There are going to be poets, Shawnee, Christy, Roe, John Carr will be singing. Drink Like a Lady will be there with drinks. M&D Food will be there with soul food, and we will have a DJ as well and some good conversations. So definitely come on out and support and give it back to the community. Also, every Sunday at 12 p.m., I do a show here on CMPRadio.net, Mental Health Talk. I talk about different situations related to mental health. Also, you can find me www.becomeyourc.com. It's my website. I talk about, mental health, the mental, the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual aspects of ourselves to help unveil our true identity. You can follow me on Instagram, Become Your C. I share a lot of poetry on there. And then also my Facebook business page, Excerpts from a Rare Diamond, powered by BYC. I share inspiration. I share just a lot of good information on there. So definitely make sure you follow that. I sell chakra jewelry to help you on your spiritual journey as well. So if you're interested in anything, just please inbox me, especially for the event on Saturday. It's definitely going to be a good time.
I should have set aside an hour and a half for that. You're doing a whole lot.
Yeah, that was about
You're setting the world on fire.
That was 4 minutes.
Okay, so let me tell y'all. Y'all could go out and visit my webpage. It's still being worked on. It's www.mindofthestorm.com. I also have started an artist page, which is Mind of the Storm on Facebook. Check it out. I also started a YouTube channel, which is, once again, Mind of the Storm. So go there and subscribe to my page. I'll have all of my videos and everything. I'm working on a couple of different projects that I'm really, really excited about. I just released an animated video. It was my first go around, and it was a true learning experience. And so now the next project that I have coming up, it will be more along like a animated cartoon. You know what I mean? So when you check it out, you're going to dig it. And what I'm asking everybody to do is to share it, because we will share a fight in a heartbeat. We will share some sexual stuff in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? We will make these people running into people's houses, snatching them out, punching them in the face a couple times, or cops shooting people. We'll share that 1,000,000 times, and that'll blow up. Let's start blowing up our own people, starting with me, damn it. Thank you. So tonight's topic is, what's the topic?
Gender roles.
Gender roles and relationships. Gender roles. And what I want to say is, to start this conversation off anyway, well, let me ask you, how you feel about gender roles and relationships?
It depends on the situation. I think they can be shared, but also, it depends on the situation of each household and what's expected of each other. So it's hard to define I can't talk what it is unless you're in that situation. So it's different and varies from person to person. So you have to first figure out what that relationship is and what it entails, and then you can define the gender roles in each.
I agree. Hello, Anita Dickerson. She's going to be at my show tomorrow night. That's right. I forgot to tell everybody. Tomorrow night at Dream Event Space, 517 Avenue of the States, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. I am having an open mic event. You can cash at me at $open mics. That's a capital O, a capital M. $10. That is your admission into the spot. Come sign this list. Get on the stage. Do what you do. It's about to go down. It is about to go down. I'm telling you. So now back to the show. So I wanted to let everybody know that how you doing, Rabia? And let me see, downtown Jabuki Brown, he said elevate from the hate, definitely, and he will be in the building tomorrow. He inboxed me, he just confirmed he will be in the building. He gonna get on the stage and he gonna make us all laugh for a little bit, because that's what he do in his spare time. I wanted to say, with gender roles, and as it pertains to gender roles, like myself growing up in a predominantly male household, everybody pretty much knows that, I have 7 brothers and 1 sister. It's 9 of us in total. The way that I grew up, it was always like my mom told us, to protect. We had to take out the trash. We had to do all types of stuff that people typically would label male jobs. My sister was the oldest of the ones who lived in the house. My oldest brother, he stayed with my grandmother. But my sister, she typically had the job of watching over all of the boys. You know what I mean? So those gender roles played out just like it always does in society. And as I grew, it was kind of instilled in me that, well, okay, I take care of my household and everything else. I don't mind doing dishes. I don't like to do them. So typically in relationships, I don't do dishes. That's just a conversation. You know what I mean? I do believe as a man that certain things are just my responsibility. And if I'm to be quite honest, I don't know how I would feel if a woman had told me she wanted to do something that I view as my job, you know. And I can't lie, even looking at certain relationships, the dynamics of it, sometimes I'm kind of turned off when I find out that, you know, there's a man in the home that's not working, that's not cooking, that's not cleaning, that's not doing anything but playing video games and coming and going, you know, as he please. So that's a problem to me. But I think if two people enter into a relationship and have a conversation, and let's say the woman is the primary breadwinner, the male, I do believe, should be taking care of the house because he's there. Because he's there and he's not working. And I think that that's just fine, because at the end of the day, it only becomes a gender role when it comes down to household duties and assignments when there is a relationship. But if a man lives by himself, he has to cook, he has to clean, he has to wash his clothes. If a woman lives by herself, she's paying all the bills and everything else. It only becomes gender roles when we come together. And then it's, how do you look at that? But, I mean, would you date a gentleman that didn't work or anything? Let's say he was a really good guy to you, did everything to make you feel good, like emotional support and things of that nature, but he didn't cook, he didn't clean, he didn't work, you know what I mean? But he satisfies you sexually, he satisfies you in, why do men satisfy women sexually sometimes? So he satisfies you sexually, he satisfies you emotionally, mentally, you know what I mean? He is your biggest cheerleader, but he doesn't handle any responsibilities.
So for me, like, I mean, I was taught to never live with someone unless, you know, there is promise of marriage or promise of a future, right? So I was taught to take care of myself. So in my household growing up, it was me and my aunt. So I was responsible for the trash, the dishes, and all the stuff that a typical would be, you know, the male of the house. And so as I got older and got in relationships, I never really lived with but one person, and at that point I was a stay-at-home parent. So yes, it was my responsibility to take care of the home, and I did. I didn't get what I needed on the other end, but, you know, hearsay. And then I was in another relationship where we didn't live together, but we were together for a long time. And so I think for me, certain things are expected, like the trash taken out. I expect, if I'm with you, that is your responsibility. I don't mind cooking. I don't mind doing the dishes. But it definitely has to be an exchange. As far as somebody's not working, I can't bear the bulk of the financial responsibility. One, I don't have a whole lot of money, so it can't be on my shoulder. And two, I have a son to take care of. So if I have to bear the bulk of the responsibility, not only is it taken away from me, it's taken away from my household, especially if we're not living together and we're in a relationship. Now, if we were living together, I would expect you to bring some type of money to the table. But if you're not and we're living together and I have to work, then I expect you to take care of the household with no, you know.
So you're just gonna come home, put a wife beater on, be like, "Get me a beer."
No, but it's still
be
certain.
Like, why's my pizza cold?
It's still certain things that I, you know, as a woman, expect for a man to do, like open the door, take the trash out, and it's just, I don't know. It just seemed weird if it's a man and a woman in a situation and she's out carrying this big load of trash and he's just sitting there. Like, I've been with somebody, like I dated in a long relationship where I had to get out and pump my own gas and put air in my own tire while the guy is just sitting there in the seat. Now, no longer in that relationship. But
how long did you endure that?
Too long.
So my question is, And it's only because I really just need to know why, what made you stay there in a situation where somebody felt it was okay, or maybe they was thinking in terms of equality. Women always say we want to be equal, so maybe he was like, okay, equally put
Well,
your
so
own gas.
it wasn't equal because I financially, even though I didn't have a lot of money, I was the one. Like if we went out, I was paying most of the time. We never did anything together. It was all looked on me. Like I had this extra income hiding somewhere, and so I guess it was expected of me, or because because I didn't ask for him to do these things for me, I had to do them myself. Like,
But why stay in
why?
it so long?
I mean, I could say it was love. I was in a bad place in that relationship. That was an abusive relationship. And so, I just accepted those. Would I do it now? No, because I know myself better. I allowed those things because I thought, maybe if I stayed long enough, he would come around. So my expectation it would get better if we argued about certain things. And after a while, when you start doing things for yourself, I was taught like to be an independent woman. So for a while there, I didn't, I did everything myself because I was taught that, and I did that. I had to do everything myself, and I think that can sometimes damage relationships too.
Yeah,
Being taught to depend on yourself and not depend on a man, because a man eventually is going to leave or do these things. But when you're in a relationship and certain roles are established, that should be a conversation had, especially if one person is staying home. But if two people are working, then I think it should be a shared responsibility. But then again, I think there are just certain things that, a man should just, the trash is like a given thing. Like, I mean, I have
well,
three.
You think it's a given?
Well,
thing,
no, I mean, no, because I experienced it wasn't a given. But
and you got to realize as well that we learn stuff from our parents.
Yeah.
And we always think the things that we learn from our parents are those things that are spoken, like they sit down and teach to us. But more than half of the things that you learn in life is nonverbal. So you can sit back and watch your mother in a relationship. You can watch your father in a relationship, or you could watch your mother and father in a relationship together, and subconsciously you're downloading information without you even knowing it. So if your mother dealt with a man that beat her, you may deal with a man that beats you. If your mother dealt with a man that didn't have to lift a finger, I can't tell you how many women I dated who said, well, my mother never had to. My mother never had to this, or my father made sure this. And this is just conversation, talking, going into a situation where they'll break it down and be like, they'll tell you exactly what they observed in growing up, and that is their expectation.
Well, see, for me, my father got killed at a young age, so I went to go live with my aunt. There was no male role model in my life, so she taught me the best way she could, and it was to be an independent woman. My mom, even when visit, there was no male present in the household. So luckily, my brothers turned out, to be those men that take out the trash, to do those, typical male roles. Nobody really taught them. They just, I guess, in a conversation in their relationships, the women said this is what they expected. And
but
so
you can't think a teacher wasn't present, because we have Hollywood, we have TV, you got all these different things. If you watch tearjerkers, love stories, you watch anything like that, this is where a lot of people get their education in loving women. This is where a lot of women get their education in loving men, and also through that watching the relationships around you and how people interact and how they grow. I mean, I think teaching anyone to be solely dependent on themselves, you're teaching someone a lie. you're teaching them something that's going to damage themselves. And it's more like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
When people teach you just to depend on you,
Yeah.
it's a self-fulfilling prophecy anytime something goes wrong.
No.
That's why I do everything myself. That's why this, and that's why that. It reinforces not to trust anyone or let anyone close enough to you to let you down. But we have to realize that people letting you down is part of the process of growing. It's part of the process of growth. Like, you have to experience these things so you can deal with it. If you never deal with it, or you always build up a wall where you never have to deal with it, then you're a damaged individual, and you're going to pass that damage on because you're going to teach that to your children. And we are not designed to be alone. And I always say, I don't care what nobody say, you need about 10 people to wipe your ass. And people will be like, oh, you don't need 10 people to wipe your ass. But you do.
Yeah.
Because somebody picked the material that cotton is made of. That freaking picked the material that cotton is. Picked the material that toilet paper is made of. It was taken to a facility where it was manufactured, made into a roll of toilet paper, packaged, sent off to a distribution center, off to a market. And then there was somebody who started a market, stocked it with that stuff, and it goes to a cashier who cashes it out, who puts it in a bag that another person made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we don't think about it. But if today you were dropped in the middle of nowhere with yourself, how independent would you actually be?
No, definitely it can damage. Like my aunt did a great job in raising me, but I think she, like not now, but like in my earlier relationships, I probably was so independent. Maybe some guys felt like, well, she can do everything herself, so I'm not going to do anything. And I think, I didn't give them the opportunity. Like I expected things so fast that it kind of maybe pushed them away, or they just sat back because you moved the way you moved. I presented myself that way. But now, like, over the years, I kind of took a step back, but then it's like after a while, I just get tired. And, you're in these relationships where you're doing, I feel like if you're in a relationship and you have to do everything by yourself, at some point it's like, why am I in this relationship? And then when my last relationship, and it was abusive, but then it came to the point like I'm doing everything myself. I'm financially supporting myself. I can't even go to you and ask you to help me because, you never have it, but I always have to have it. Or like if we're out and I always have to pay, or I always have to open the door, or always have to take out the trash. I always have to cook and do these things. Like, so okay, at some point I have to leave this relationship because I am in a relationship by myself. You're just there for a body to have sex with. And that what it started to become. It was just like I was just laying down to have sex, and that was it.
Well, see, a lot of people only find value in themselves between their legs. And maybe that's what he felt his value was. Whatever he was making you feel in those intimate moments, for him, maybe it covered the gambit of what you needed in his mind. But once again, we're taught to be independent. And a lot of times, that same independence that we're taught is the same thing that cripples us in the end.
It does.
Because people will put stuff in your lap or show you things, but then they give you no structure. Yeah. They give you no direction. They just say, they'll give you cautions. You can't count on people. People will let you down. A man ain't worth nothing. A woman ain't worth nothing. And no, for real. No, and we get taught these things. We are taught those. And as we're taught these things, and we soak it into our body, and we walk out into life, we meet somebody, and somebody like, yo, let me. I tell you what, I'm gonna give you. No, thank you. I got it. Don't worry about it. Then it's like, okay. If somebody asks you something 4 or 5 times and you deny them the opportunity to be who they want to be in your life, can you get mad at the fact that they fall back and they don't ask you no more? And then when you get tired, you come at them and you say, well, you never this and you never that, when in reality, you never gave them a chance. You taught them something.
Yeah.
You taught them not to ask. You taught them, okay, you so independent, then depend on yourself.
Well,
you know?
I mean, over the years, I realized we can't, like, I need people. Like, especially with my family, I need them. Like, whatever role they play in my life, like, I need to be surrounded by people. People empower me, just the energy of people. We can't do everything alone. I know, like, I can't, as a woman, as a mother, as a sister, I can't do certain things by myself. And so now that I'm older and I'm learning more of myself, I'm more accepting of help from others. There's no one person, no matter how independent they seem. And I hate when I hear certain women be like, oh, I don't need a man. What do I need a man for? Yes, you know, at the end of the day, we can't function by ourselves. And so certain things like, I bring up sex, but you can't you can satisfy yourself with certain toys, but at the end of the day, a warm body is better than an empty bed. Like, after all of that done, the older you get, you realize you do need someone. But I think, after a while, we hold on to like how we are and our character, and it prevents us from like change, right? And so now we're so stuck in our ways, we're not willing to let down our guard. And so we find ourselves, maybe we're 70 something years old and now we're by ourselves wishing we maybe missed that opportunity of that one guy that could have came into our life and changed the game for everything. But because we were so independent and we don't need anybody, we find ourselves alone.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of times I don't think that we realize our bullshit neither.
Yeah.
I don't think we realize, like I always say, we operate from damage, but it's on such a high level, you know what I mean? Because we're functioning. We function with our damage.
We do.
So when we make our choices, we don't realize how many situations influence one choice. And it's not me sitting up here saying, oh, run out and get somebody, but let me tell you something. For everybody that claims that they need no one, lonely is a motherfucker. Lonely will make you do some fucked up stuff.
Stalk.
Lonely will make you decide to do something you would have never done in a million years.
Yeah.
You get lonely enough. And we're communal creatures. We need community. We need people to be in our lives. We need somebody to give a fuck about what we did yesterday.
Well, just like you said, like, we need people. Like, we can't function by ourselves. We don't create the home we live. We don't create the food. I mean, you can grow your own food, but you have to buy those seeds from somewhere. The clothes that you have on your back. So you need someone to function in everyday society.
Yeah, we need even the people that we don't know. And the reason why I put it out there like that and broke down a toilet paper scenario is just to prove to everybody out there, we don't do anything alone. And doing things by yourself, it's not that you can't, because you can, but you can't. Eventually it takes a toll on you. And we start getting older, you start realizing your mortality. The only thing you kind of think to yourself is, I don't want to die alone. I want somebody who care enough about me to give a fuck about what I'm going through. I need somebody to call and order my meds. Yes, I can do it myself, but it shows me love when somebody calls and orders my meds. But I need somebody to worry about whether I ate or not. I need somebody to worry about how I'm feeling, or they see a look on my face and they like, yo, what's good? And just for somebody to know without you speaking that something is up. See, that is that feeling of completion. Let me
that's intimacy on a deeper level.
Yeah. Let me see. Rabia said some things are built for men to do. As for women, I'm just saying. I'm not taking out trash or put oil in the car. I don't blame you. Renee said people only do what you allow them to do. That's a very, very good point. Rabia said when they lose control of themselves. Renee said, be very clear about what's expected and what will not be accepted in your relationships. Yeah. What's good, Tyrone? Tyrone said, what's up?
What's up, Tyrone?
So let me tell you, like, the 10 of life is in the house. Let me tell you like this. When it's all said and done, people look at me like I'm crazy when I say this one thing I'm about to say. I don't necessarily agree with Renee because I don't have any expectations of anybody. If I have an expectation, it'll be this one thing. I expect you to be who you are.
Yeah.
Because if I give you these expectations, what you'll do in the very beginning, if I tell you this is what makes me happy, you'll do that. But you can only do it for so long. And if it's not who you are, eventually you're going to revert back to something. And if we all remember, if you really think about it, in most relationships that wind up falling apart, prior to it falling apart and you talking to your friends, you'll be like, oh, well, he used to this and he used to that. Yes, because you asked for it. You asked for it in the beginning, but it wasn't who he was, so he couldn't keep it up. He couldn't keep up the facade, the lie of who he is not. He could not keep it up. So he let it go and he just was himself. So I expect you to be yourself. Yeah. And I can tell you whether I can accept who you are.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like, I don't think we should expect people to be who we want them to be, but be themselves. But I think subconsciously we may, like, this is what we want, and then this person can show themselves, and then we can choose whether we're going to accept this person in our life or not. But that whole they put on a disguise in the beginning. They try to be like, I've dealt with this, especially when you do online dating. People become this totally different person than what they are, and then after a while you find out this is the person that they not. And so it sucks because once you with someone and you fall in love, it's hard to separate yourself from that person, and now you have to decide, and then you waste years sometimes with the wrong person because
a lot of times I think we rush to love. We rush to love like it's running out, like it's on sale, it's Black Friday, and they only have 10 loves in the building. So if you don't hurry up and love a motherfucker, it's all going to be gone and you won't have anybody. So as soon as somebody smiles and says a few good things, it's kind of like you can't get them out of your head. Well, nobody has to be special. Let me tell you something. My oldest kid's mom, I met her in high school. Yeah. And, well, actually, I worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken. Her brother worked there as well. I saw her, and I knew when I saw her, I wanted her. You know what I mean? We went to the same school. She was a grade or two, she was 2 grades under me. I think I was like in the 11th, and she was in the 9th. Call it what you want. But anyway, I was like determined to get her. And let me tell you, every day after school, I would wait outside until I saw her come out the building. I would offer to carry her books. She would not let me. But I would walk with her down the road. She would talk to me and everything else, but she would not give me the time of day. And then one day she let me carry her books, but this was after probably like 4 or 5 months. She let me carry her books. It was the freaking winter time by that time. It was cold, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say 4 or 5 months. I want to say it was like 3 months. She let me carry her books. It was the winter time. And I walked her to her house, and it was ass cold. This was like back in the day when wintertime was wintertime cold. And she made me stand on that porch, and she would have her front. See, it was a screen door, her front door, and then it was like a little hallway with another door. She would come out, close that door, come to the front door, open that door, and leave the screen door closed because they had the glass on it. And I had to talk to her through the glass. And I did that mostly all winter faithfully. And then one day her mom came out. She didn't never invite me in. Her mother invited me. She was like, you got that boy out there every day and it ain't right. But look at all I had to do to get with her. All I had to do to prove like I really want you. I used to tell her, I said, we're going to get married. You're going to have my children. I'm going to take care of you. You'll see. I'll do whatever I need to do to make you see how much I wanted you. And I did everything I could do. And then finally, we were together. You know what I mean? And the whole thing is nowadays, it's not a process like that. Nowadays, I don't think people care as much as we did back then. Let me read some of these comments again. Quaz said, relationships fall apart because we don't have the game plan for what a relationship really is. Quaz, I 100% agree with you. And I'm going to say I agree with you because I believe that we base our relationships off of societal norms, societal constructs. This is what a relationship looks like. This is what the man does. This is what the woman does. So we don't build our relationships based off of our wants and needs all the time, but we build our relationships off of what we were told they should look like. What do you think?
I think it's what we want and what we need are different.
Exactly.
We want a lot of stuff like we want to win $1 million. We want I want to be able to drink regular, but our needs are what will sustain us in the long run, right? And I think we get it confused. Like a lot of times we want instant gratification, right? We see somebody and they turn us on
we want that.
sexually. So a lot of times we do. And I've fallen short many a times. We get lust confused with love. And what real love is. I never knew what love was. Now that I get older, it changes. Like we use, I think, our bodies in the beginning, and we try to keep people trapped with that. But then what's after that? Like after that initial, in love feeling and period, what can sustain the relationship?
Is it more so infatuation?
It is infatuation.
Renee said, I understand your position. Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Renee. Because I always like to say, nobody's right or wrong. It's just we all have opinions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I respect your opinion as well. Tyrone said, facts, Christina. Quad said you should go into a relationship knowing that you both are a work in progress and you are supposed to help each other become better versions of ourselves.
Definitely.
Let me tell you something, Quaz. It's two people working together for the better of the whole. Two people come together to form one. You know what I mean? And the crazy part is, in a perfect world, she should possess my strengths. I mean, she should possess my the strengths of where I fall weak at, and I should possess the strengths of where she falls weak at to kind of complete the circle. But a lot of times when we choose people, we don't choose people based off of who's best for us. A lot of time we choose people based off of who looks best or who is sexually appealing or who is most attractive or more attractive. A lot of times we don't choose people based off of the beauty of who they are.
No, definitely. I don't want anyone like me. It would drive me up the wall. I would definitely want someone not complete opposite, but like you said, that can fill in that gap. Because I'm not great at everything. I do have weaknesses, and we all do. And so you want someone that can pick them up, because where you're strong at, that can help elevate them. Definitely two people should come together and constantly be strengthening each other. And that's why it's important to evaluate the relationship at every step. Like I believe in, you don't have to do it weekly, but maybe do a monthly check-in. Like, where are we at? Okay, where can we go from there? How can we make it stronger?
I'll be like,
not
what, you trying to get rid of me? Like every week we gotta talk about this.
But what can we do better to enhance this relationship? And I don't think a lot of relationships sit down and have the conversations, and I think it's important, and that's how you build real close intimacy. And intimacy is not just sex. Intimacy is a whole nother level of being close with someone and being committed with someone. And I think people don't search for that deep intimacy. They want that instant gratification, and that's all that matters. But that's not going to have those relationships you see that last for 40 or 50 years.
I think it all becomes a point of how we view things and how we understand words. Even understanding intimacy. Most people understand intimacy to mean sex, but
Yeah.
that's not what it means. But most people understand that. Now, Quaz said what we end up doing is dating or marrying our expectations, and once those expectations are not met, we end up falling apart. I had to give you a bell on that, Quaz. Let me tell you something. That is such a freaking valid point. And some of us don't even marry our expectations. Sometimes we marry other people's expectations. What people expect for us, what we think our people are going to like or dislike about somebody. It's a whole lot of people out there running around unhappy because they don't have what they need. They only left with what they wanted. But then your wants, after a while, they change. And when your wants shift, then you're left wanting something more or something different. But it's not going to match what you wanted before, so it's not going to match that person that you're with. You know what I mean? Renee said the thrill of the chase. She must have been talking about the story I told. Qua said, so it's a dark light and a bright light. The bright light is what people can see physically, attraction, personalities, and things people can see. Then the dark light is the shit we hide about ourselves, but dig it. That person is there to help you deal with your flaws. And the most beautiful thing I think about relationships is the ability, the innate ability that we have as human beings to come into someone's life and change it. Now, we can change it in a positive way or a negative way. So with me, I choose not to force change onto nobody.
Yeah.
But what I want you to do is I want you to want to be a better you. So if I can inspire you to be a better you, I'd be happy. If I can't inspire you to be a better you, then I would be unhappy. But it always has to be somebody's personal choice. And some people's personal choice is stagnation. They like being where they at. And so you have to ask yourself, are you okay with being within all of that? So it's 8:43. So what I want to do real quick is I'm gonna get Christina to do a poem, or her stage name, Love Serenity. Oh. But before I get you to do that poem, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow night, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Dream Event Space, what is it? 517 Avenue of the States. I'm going to be having an open mic. So if you would like to come through, I'm going to put this down in the thread. All you have to do is Cash App $10 to open mics per ticket. And that will be your entry into the building. And if you are a performer, I will have a list that you can sign, come through, perform, do what you need to do. You about ready for that poem?
I am.
Or I need to keep talking?
No, don't keep talking.
All right, so you still flipping pages.
Right.
You're like, no, don't keep talking. So with no further ado, Love Serenity.
Okay. This poem is called Just for a Kiss Goodbye.
Just for who?
A kiss, sorry. This poem is called Just for a Kiss Goodbye. You kissed me. I fell in a pool of emotions. My body started trembling. Your hand caressed my thighs. You moved your hand softly to hold me from drifting off into a sea of being afraid. You held my head to look deeply into my eyes. Without saying anything, I knew you needed me for tonight. So many questions of why you chose me. I tried to utter a simple answer, but your kiss told me. You laid me gently down on your naked body. I felt your heartbeat. I felt you breathe. I couldn't breathe. You took my breath away. All I could do was lay there with you. As the tune echoed in the background, the vibrations to the song sent chills up my spine. Can you feel the sensation? My body temperature started to rise. I wanted to stay in that moment wrapped in your ancestral strength. I wanted to feel your penetrative substance wash over me. I wanted to feel you bare. You touched me. I wanted to touch you. I wanted to give to you what you offered to me. You hesitated. The song stopped and it was time to go. Not before you kissed me goodbye. We parted ways, wondering if one day we would be free to taste without just a kiss. One moment that passed too soon. Thank you.
That was fire, fire, fire. You know, sometimes you say some things in your poetry. By the way, she'll be at the open mic. Look at me. The open mic event tomorrow. Actually coming through to perform. You know what I mean? Like, people kill me when they like artists. They be like, "Oh, I'm gonna come, but I'm not gonna do anything." Yes, the hell you ain't. You know, I ain't gonna do nothing. I'm just watching. Let me tell you something. Poetry, once again, for me, honestly, it's one of the greatest forms of expression that I have. I feel like I can say things, but I can write some things. I can literally write some things. So,
I mean, definitely, poetry, it definitely has helped me heal in my whole spiritual journey, my, dealing with a lot of things that I have in my life. It's just like meditation for me. It's like a peace of mind. The words that I can't speak, the pen speaks for me, and so I'm able to just express myself in a way that will allow me to grow and to heal. Like, I use poetry as a form of healing it. And like, my old poetry used to be, sadness and stuff, because that was a space that I was in. So now I try to write about, love and growing and elevating and all that stuff, because that's what I'm aspiring to be.
I mean, as it should be. I think poetry for me has always been a form of like therapy. And like, if you ever go to a therapist doesn't say much. They listen to you. They'll ask you a question that causes you to talk. And as you talk, you hear yourself, because it's so quiet, and they just sitting there, you talking to them, and they're just looking at you. And I think human nature causes us to want to explain or break something down. And in that moment, looking through the judgment of their eyes, I feel, you wind up figuring some shit out.
Well, yeah, I wanted to say that when you were talking about something earlier, like in relationships and stuff, like when I went to therapy, my therapist didn't tell me, "Oh, you need to do this," right? After a while, you kind of figure it out on your own. Like, you hearing your own self, you're sitting there, you're meditating, and they're not there to tell you what to do. They're not there to enable you. You have to figure these things out for yourself so you can grow.
So Fatima Halima, what's up, Fatima? She said, "Fire!"
Thank you.
Fatima said, "I also write to heal. I say I write the pain out of
Definitely.
me." That's beautiful. Anita Dickerson said, "Tomorrow night, right?" It's tomorrow night, Anita. Anita was like the first person who bought tickets to come out tomorrow night. And also, I'm going to give you a moment at the top of the hour to run down all your information and tell everybody what you got going on again.
Right now?
No, I said at the top of the hour.
What's that, 9 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
thank you. So, so I'm going to share a piece with y'all as well. And this is a piece I won't be doing tomorrow, because it's a piece that I'll always do. And y'all probably heard 50 million times. But hey, what you going to do? So I sit alone in this empty room, consumed with the need to know what exactly it is I did to make you leave. I mean, what made our today so much different from our yesterdays, I still can't conceive, but somehow I believe that we will be all right. But as I sit here in this empty room tonight, with the closet door wide open, exposing bare hangers, overwhelmed by confusion and anger, Thinking if only I could call your name loud enough would it echo off these four walls and somehow find its way back into the halls of your soul and stop my world from spinning out of control. You see, I need you by my side to hold me. I spent my whole life loving you. I don't know how to live it alone. I mean, you've even took your pictures out of the frame and left those empty frames there to hang, revealing this white couple in a romantic embrace, having the audacity to smile at me as they look back into my fragile face. It was almost as if they somehow knew that they would outlast you and me, as if their forever was meant to be longer than our eternity. And I guess it's true what they say about real men crying behind closed doors, because I can't deny the tears that I cry are all of the fact that I can't cope with these changes that my life keep going through without you. I mean, damn, I can't even sleep without dreaming about you. Just last night I envisioned us sweating, bodies intertwined, lips locked in such an embrace as if we both contemplated that letting go would let our souls escape into the atmosphere and dissipate into the clouds. And as the rain fell, we briefly departed, then reunited in creeks, rivers, and streams, and consecrated this sacred love once more once our raindrops reached the sea. There no longer existed a you or I, just we, as water, the very essence of life. Baby girl, it was beautiful. But then my alarm clock rudely awakened me to the fact that there is no we, just you and he. And although you took all of your belongings out of my place, your scent in the air still reminds me. I mean, I keep looking at that side of my bed where you used to be, and these things that are so subtle are just killing me softly and slowly. I apologize, baby girl, that's my word. I mean, I would write this across the sky or have it hummed by hummingbirds if it would bring you back to my heart. Please accept my apology as a start. Thank you. I jacked that up. I know we don't jack stuff
That's
up.
fine.
I jacked it up. Fatima said, I'm mad I can't get to PA tomorrow night. It's okay. Because one of these days you will, woman. One of these days you will. So our topic for this evening is, what is it?
Gender roles.
Gender roles in relationships or whatnot. And when we speak about that topic, I like to think to myself that most of the time we bring outside arguments into our home. How people feel about your relationship, especially if you're dating a man and you're working and that man is not. That's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. Number one, if it's a man who likes to work and likes to take care of his family, that's pressure inside of the home. But if it's coming from outside, family and friends looking at your situation and actually planting seeds in your mind about what's actually happening or what this actually is, and causing you to come home and have conversations with your significant other about somebody else's grievances in your relationships, I just don't get it. I personally think that if you sit down and you have a conversation, it would be like if I said, well, I'm gonna work while you go to school, but then once you graduate and you get a job and I'm gonna stop working so I can go to school. You know what I mean? Nobody should be judging anybody based off of that. You got what I'm saying?
No, I definitely agree. Like, that's why it should be. I mean, when you at that phase in your relationship where y'all moving in together, or that's the next step in your relationship, it should be talked about. What do you expect? I didn't mind. Like, I tried the stay-at-home mom thing. I didn't mind it. But I expected, certain things. If I'm going to be staying at home, taking care of the home, the child, everything, then you have to be able to give me what I need. And it wasn't reciprocated that way. But a man should never feel less than if he is staying at home, but he is taking care of that home just like it would be expected of a woman. Like, if she's staying at home, she got to cook, she got to clean. I've heard too many stories about, these women, they out here busting their butt, and the man is just sitting at home providing just some sex, and that's it. And he's on a game, or he's using her car to do whatever, and that's not fair because now the bulk of the responsibility is on her financially, emotionally, and all of that, and that gets tiring whether it is a man or a woman staying at home. It shouldn't be looked down upon, but like certain things, like especially with the household chores, should be a given. If both people are working, then both people need to contribute to taking care of the home as well. Definitely should be discussed. Some people don't want to work, and that's okay, but then you can't get angry when it's expected of you to take care of the home, which is your responsibility, your job.
Well, you can't necessarily say that's your responsibility, that's your job.
Well,
I
no.
think it will all depend on, like, let me tell you something. There are people in this world who they thrive off of taking care of people.
Yeah.
They thrive off of providing. They thrive off of doing everything. You got what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, I get it. If I have to work outside of the home, I'm going to need help taking care of the home. Like, I can't do everything by myself because I'm going to be tired too as well. But like you said about the going to school thing, yes, if you want to go to school, I will sit there and support you in that. And then when it's my turn, I expect the same support as well. You just have to be in a space where you're holding each other down. Like if my husband or something got ill and he couldn't take out the trash and stuff, of course as his wife, I'm going to step up and assume that responsibility until he gets on his feet. Like you shouldn't just be like, oh, you need to hurry up and heal. You just had surgery like a week ago.
I know you just had heart surgery, but guess what?
But I just think it's important to have conversation and to see where you're at. That's why I said, those monthly conversations, and see maybe like both people are working and maybe one person wants to step off for a little bit and not work so much. So have that conversation to see if the other person can, take on a second job or,
I think that got to be strategically planned as well.
It does.
You got to sit back and have a real in-depth conversation. But for most people, I think if you're at a good place in your relationship, and first off, understand yourself, then understand who you're with. So some people may have the capacity of that, but some of us, since we operate from these places of damage, it could be like, well, look, you can't this and you can't that. Like, everybody's not going to fall into agreement or fall in line with what any one particular person wants.
Yeah.
But that's why it's really important to just let people be who they are. Stop having expectations. It's okay if you think in your mind that you have these requirements on what you want in life or what you want from a person. But when you meet somebody and y'all sit down and rap, if you rapping about your expectations and they're doing everything that they possibly can to meet them, to meet those expectations, then how can you ever really expect to find like the right person, the person who's really just being who they are? Why let somebody woo you into a situation by doing everything you want or being everything you need because you told them? That's like giving a murderer the knife to murder you with. Okay, well, if I'm gonna die, I wanna die by a knife. Here you go. That's like giving somebody the bullets to kill you with. All I'm trying to say is we need to think about stuff a little deeper than what we think about them.
Well, yeah, I had I don't want someone that will do, be whatever, everything that you need them to be. It gets tiring after a while. I was with somebody for a long time and they tried their hardest to do everything I wanted and stuff, and it was like, I could walk all over them. And so I kind of did. And
so you want somebody to smack you around?
No. But I learned my lesson. It wasn't right what I did in that relationship. But if you do everything because somebody wanted to, not like when you're in a relationship, you do things for each other because you want to, right? And so it's not expected. But if you're the person that's constantly doing just to please this person, when is your needs going to get met? Because it does get tiring, and then you feel like it's a burden after a while. But you're trying to do this, trying to win this person over, but it's not going to work. Like
I gotta ask you a question though, because I'm really curious to a fault. I'm thinking to myself like, okay, well, someone's doing exactly what you want, and you don't want it.
I was so young. I'm not saying no. I'm not. I'm not saying my age was a factor, but it was. I was like 19. You know, I'm not saying you shouldn't get in a committed relationship at 19, but you're still trying to figure yourself out. And at that point,
oh, so you was 19 at the time?
Yeah.
Okay, enough said.
Yeah, I was like still trying to figure myself out, but it's not right by no means, because then you damage that person, you know, and their kindness and stuff. Now, you know, as an adult, that's what you kind of want. Not somebody that kiss your ass, but, you know, just
smack you every once in a while?
No, I don't want somebody like that either. I had that, and that wasn't that.
I'm messing with you. I'm seriously messing with you.
But I think what we want and need changes as we get older. I know what I need now as a woman and as an adult is not what I wanted then. Like, I wanted, like, you know, probably the so-called bad boy, or someone that, you know, was hard to get and everybody wanted. And now I just want substance. I want someone that is going to support and love and take care of me. And I, you know, in turn, I give the same to them. But it definitely should change as you get older. I think we should mature from when we were teenagers to adulthood. Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah. So, first off, Fatima said, exactly, if we decide together what and how we are going to handle, carry, and maintain our relationship is our own business. Men can be great at home if they are doing the same thing as expected for a woman to do. Some men take great pride as a homemaker. A lot of times, the homemaker manages the finances and do a hell of a job investing, saving, managing, etc., and investing in the kids' education and training of them as people, individuals, etc. No relationship owes their family and friends the ins and outs of that relationship. That's why one becomes two. People forget that part, and I agree. She also says, expectations unsaid before a relationship becomes serious. I would hope someone would just be themselves. I'm not sure I agree. I would hope someone would say, you know what, that's not who I am. I don't want that kind of life that you want. So yeah, we're not really right for each other. And she followed up by saying, shut up, Mike. She don't want to be smacked up.
Maybe I do, but not in that way.
Not in those terms. But let me tell you, I feel you not agreeing with that, Fatima. I do feel you not agreeing with that, and that's fine. What I try to say is simply this. In life, honestly, we all want and need like different things. Our wants and needs typically are very different from each other. We just mix our needs up with our wants, and we call them all needs. I need you. I need a person who's going to take out the trash. No, you don't, because it's not going to kill you if they don't. You know what I mean? It's not life sustaining, or it doesn't sustain your mental health, or you know what I mean? It's just we got to separate our wants and our needs.
But
the
I
reason
definitely.
why I say, just gonna cut me off, huh?
No, I'm sorry.
I'm messing with you, huh?
Are you gonna go or should I?
I'm going to finish my thought, please.
I'm sorry.
I'm over here choking. So anyway, and you just messed up my thought. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, excuse me. So when it comes down to expectations, and the reason why I say I don't put any expectations on anybody, I don't care what nobody says. Just inevitably, people tend, when you meet people, you start dating people, people tend to hold back some of who they are. They just do. Everybody put their best foot forward. And that's why they say you meet the representative. And then the representative will hang around for a while. And so that needs to wear off. I need to see you angry. I need to see you at your worst moments. I do. I need to know if you dig up your nose. Like, that would be a problem. Some people do that and they're okay with that. Like, in public, they'll be, no, I'm for real, though, because to me, that's just disgusting.
I think some
you know?
people, well, most people do it behind closed doors. I don't think nobody is sitting there in public. Like, no, I've seen,
I've
in
seen
car,
in
their car.
do it.
I've
seen people do a lot of things in public where I'm just like, oh my God, that's wrong. That is wrong. But it don't stop me from doing it. So what I'm saying is that with me, as far as I look at expectations, for me personally, it's just something that I'm just not into. Number one, if I approach you, then 9 times out of 9, I already know who you are. Yeah. I've seen who you are. You know what I mean? In the case that I don't know you, I just give you time to be who you are. I'm not rushing nowhere. Yeah. I don't need to tell you I love you today. I don't need to say we getting married. I don't need to say we moving in. I don't need to say we're going to have 10.5 kids and a half of a fucking a dog that's half fucking pit bull, half chihuahua. I don't need to do all of that. You know what I mean? In the beginning, all I need to do is get to know you for who you are and not get to know who you are within the realm of my expectations that I placed in your head. You know?
I think what Fatima is trying to say, like in the beginning, to
avoid. She's very clear what she's saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, she doesn't agree with my thought process on it, and that's fine.
To avoid wasting time, like that's why in the beginning, just have them conversations. What do you expect? But I get what you're saying, because people will try to be this person in the beginning and then it branches off. But like, I think maybe we shouldn't, like, maybe sometimes we expect people to be, you know, to do those everything. Like, I don't expect someone to check off all those boxes, right? Like, I don't want a perfect person because we are imperfect people. If you have someone that's totally perfect, then they'll expect you to be that way. Then you're going to clash, right? You're going to be in constant competition with each other. That's why, you know, again, those strengths and weaknesses come in hand, because where they lack, you pick up. And so you do that, build accordingly into that. But yeah, relationships can be tricky sometimes. But I think when people are honest, you know, allow people to be who they are, that's how you flourish in relationships. You allow people to be who they are, and you see if that can meet the need of what you want in life. And if it doesn't, it's okay to let it go. And we probably do rush too fast to get into relationships.
Yeah, people to get a running start.
Because we don't want, well, it's that thing of not wanting to be alone. And I get it. Like, I don't want to be alone. Who wants to be alone? That sucks. To sit there and hold yourself at night, every night, or you're like 50, 60 years old and you're still alone. Like, you want to be with someone.
Why they make body pillows, I guess.
That's not the same.
Fatima said, it happened to me. Someone asked, what are you looking for? So I answered, I want someone without a lot of attachments and old relationships, because I was coming into a place with no children, no marriage, etc. So I was not looking to have to manage them things. I was 24, so yeah, I told him that. So he decided not to tell me about a marriage and a child that turned out not to be his. I accidentally found this out when I flew to Florida to meet his family. Yeah, I was pissed and felt betrayed. But that's like I said, what's the difference between telling somebody what you need and they not meeting those expectations later on, or just letting them be who they are and taking your time and naturally just finding out who they are without the lies, without the extra stuff. Now, people will always hold stuff back. It's what they do. You know what I mean? It's just literally what they do. Like, I'm cool. Cooler than cool.
I mean, people will definitely, like, you give people time, they'll reveal themselves. Because let me tell you, it's hard trying to assume a person that you're not, like, and then after a while, they, like, let's say someone in the beginning, they doing all this stuff, and then after a while, they slowly stop doing it because that's not who they were.
Yeah, they get tired of it.
And then now you on the other hand was, that's who you thought they were, so you're expecting it, and now that's where you clash, and that's where the relationship falls apart. And then it ends on bad terms only because people weren't upfront who they are. I think it's important in the beginning just to have conversation. You should share some certain things, tell people certain things about you to see if they can handle it. Just like if you are someone that suffers from mental health issues, I think you should reveal, be like, maybe I'm bipolar, I'm schizophrenia running my family, and then be like, well, I can't deal with that, and that's okay. It's okay. Instead of getting in a relationship, because I suffer from panic anxiety, OCD, depression, and I don't think a lot of people could deal with that. Like, it's hard to deal with someone with a lot of those elements, but you can choose. Don't say you're going to be with me and I have all this, and then after we're together for some time, and then you act like you can't deal with my stuff. Well, I told you this is how I get.
Because I think most people wind up just wanting what they want, and then will get that at any cost. And once they have it, and they have it enough, and they have their fill, it's just like Thanksgiving. When you had enough, you ain't refilling your plate. You like, I'm cool.
I don't know. You may have some leftover. You might pack an extra.
Yeah, but that's what they are, leftovers. So maybe a week or two go by and y'all have a conversation. So they come back, eat a little bit more, and then they just throwing a lot of the stuff away because they like, oh well, I had this too long. I don't know.
Definitely.
Let me see. Please tell me you're crazy. I will tell you mine. Oh yeah. Oh, in all actuality, that's one thing I 100% agree with. If you got issues, if you got problems, you just come clean with them. Might as well. What the hell is it going to hurt? That's the question. What is the question? I mean, what is the problem? You don't have to hold nothing back, because sometimes that stuff, it hurts other people. But see, for me personally, like I said, we are all damaged. So I walk in the reality that anybody I ever meet in life is going to have their damage with them. They're going to have their pain with them. They went through the things they went through. And everything that happened to them is what I see standing in front of me.
Definitely.
So show me who you are. We're going to talk. I don't need to talk about your past. I don't need to talk about none of that. Let's just talk and let conversation naturally evolve. Let your deeds speak for themselves. Like, it's stuff that I'm looking for. I will never tell you that I'm looking for these things. You know what I mean? There's some things that happen will let me know, oh, well, that's not a good fit because I can't talk to that person. Oh, I feel like I have to walk on eggshells in certain situations. Oh, when they get hyped up, I might say some shit just to try to provoke a response, just to see how it's going to go down. Just be who you are. That's it. You know what I mean? Because whatever it is I need to see, you're going to show me. And then in my mind, I know where this is going to go.
No, I mean, that's definitely important. For you to be yourself up front, to tell certain things. I don't think you should tell everything, because that's how people become who they know. I used to do that, dating when I was younger, especially with the online dating. Oh, this is what I'm looking like, and then this person will show themselves, oh, this is who I am, and then eventually down the road they become who they really were, and now I'm just left stuck. What the hell? And then I done fell in love, and then now I gotta try to figure it out. Should I stay? Should I go? But I think mental health is one of them things that, it shouldn't be touchy, but you should be comfortable with speaking about it. But any issues, not like you shouldn't load everything, the first, couple of months, but you should let people know your mind space, and see if they could handle it or not, because a lot of people may not be able to handle it, especially mental health issues. It's a lot to deal with, because some days you're great and then some days you feel like shit. And then, can you handle me in my worst moment? Like, I don't want someone that's just going to stick around.
You at your best.
Yeah, because I mean, okay, then what happens when you're at your bad moment? Should I just up and leave, just like you said you were up and leave with me? Oh, I can't deal with your shit. Well, maybe I can't deal with your shit. Like,
That's a lot of not dealing with shit. That's a whole lot of angry. Yeah, but you know what? Once again, I really do feel like a lot of times it's up to people on how they're gonna view life, how they're gonna do, their experiences, what you might need in life altogether.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's up to the individuals that's involved in relationships, and it's up to you what you see your role is in a household. Let me tell you something. I will tell you what I'm not going to do all day. I will literally tell you, like, I don't mind if we're having a conversation. Let's say we just met, we went out to dinner maybe once or twice. I will tell you what I'm not going to do in a heartbeat. And I don't care whether you tell me you're going to do it or not, but I'm going to tell you what I don't do.
Yeah.
If I say, look, I don't do dishes, guess what? I don't do dishes. Like, if that's what it is, that's what it is.
So would you be willing to cook or do something to kind of balance that?
The balance not doing dishes?
Yeah. Dishes come after the
Next
cooking
question.
part.
Next question, please. Sorry, nah. So, I know I said at the top of the hour, but we got involved in a whole lot. So, I want you to run down your information again.
Okay.
Tell everybody what you do. Tell everybody what you got going on this weekend, please.
Okay, so Saturday I have an event coming up. It's called Create Your Reality. So I put together this event in order to collect items for the homeless, especially in our community, right? I dealt with homelessness myself, and so it's always been a passion of mine to give back. And so if you're coming out, you can definitely bring non-perishable items. You can bring clothing as long as it's like in a seal pack. With COVID going on, we still have to be extra careful. It's 517 Avenue of the States. It's from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're going to have poets. John Carr is going to be singing. Shawnee's going to be there. Christy Rowe will be there. We will have a DJ. Drink Like a Lady will be on board with your drinks. And then M&D with the soul food. Definitely come out and have a good time. We're going to have some great conversation as well. And also every Sunday here on cmpradio.net, I do a show called Mental Health Talk at 12 p.m. where I talk about different subjects related to mental health and how we can move forward. I talk about holistic healing as well because I use that in my own life and I've seen the benefits of that. And so I offer that as an alternative approach to dealing with mental health every Sunday, 12 p.m. And then on the Live 365 app, Sundays, 12 p.m., Wednesdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. Also, you can find me www.becomeyourc.com. I share about, the mental health journey, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. Instagram is Become Your C. I share a lot of poetry on there as well. The tickets for the show are only $10, right? But if you purchase a ticket at the door, it will go up to $20. Tickets are still available. You can cash at me, $capital B, then ECOMEYOURC, or you can I can send you an invoice through PayPal.
Okay. That was some information.
That's a lot.
That was a lot of information. I was like, I almost got in the car, started it up, and just went on.
I should put my Cash App in case.
Yeah,
people
please
don't know.
do. Put your Cash App. Also, put your website up there because what I want people to realize is that we all need to support each other, and whatever that means at the end of the day, for you. You know what I mean? We should support each other in our endeavors so that we can grow our community strong. You know what I mean? It's not a whole lot of people worried about mental health in our communities. It really not. Matter of fact, half the people that live in our community ain't worried about mental health in our community. So, you know what I mean? It's always a good thing to be on top of it. It just really honestly is. Do you have another piece you want to share?
I do.
Did you put your information in there?
No, I can do it after.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
It might be too much.
What, the piece of poetry?
No,
Information?
well, that one poem that I have, that might be too much.
Well, at the end of the day, what I do want everybody to realize is wherever you fall on this whole gender role conversation, always realize it's whatever works for your household. nobody's opinion outside your household should ever matter when it comes down to the matters, of your home. And I would say nobody should matter within that unless you're getting karate chopped every night and beat to a bloody pulp. Then, somebody needs to get involved with that. But if what you and your partner is doing works for you guys, then there is no such thing as a gender role. All it becomes is, well, these are my responsibilities in this relationship that helps maintain the household. I mean, hell, clothes going to get dirty. Somebody got to wash them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People get hungry. Somebody got to feed people. You got kids. Somebody got to take care of them. And whether it be you or your partner, honestly, y'all switch up at different times.
I definitely agree. Roles do intersect like that. And then definitely you shouldn't tell outside people, or their opinions shouldn't matter in a relationship, because you could have a great relationship, and because people are talking on the outside, or they don't understand the dynamics of your relationship, they can actually damage your relationship. Because after a while, people constantly saying stuff that'll just sit in there, and if you do deal with mental health issues, that sentence could keep replaying, and then you can damage your own relationship. And it could have been a great relationship, but because these outside or people are jealous, though, maybe their relationship isn't going so well, so they will try to bring you down with them. So
or maybe they're just wishing they had the situation you had, because they see your situation as like being great.
Definitely.
And they're getting up every day, going to work, busting their ass, wishing they could be home doing, taking a huge break.
I've had people that done that. I've experienced it, where people will say stuff behind your back, or tell your partner you're doing something and you're not, just to get, maybe they might want that partner, so they're doing everything they can do to ruin that relationship. Granted, you should listen, especially if you're in an abusive situation, and your family and friends are trying to help you out of that. Eventually, I mean, you have to make your own decision, but they're trying to help you. But anything outside of that, because I learned that every relationship has their issues, right? There's no perfect relationships. And so if someone is coming to vent to you, it's okay, but don't, give like, what is it? That's not the word I'm looking for. Don't just sit there and listen, try not to, overpower the conversation with your own thoughts and opinions, because
stay away from adjectives like "you crazy."
No, definitely, because like, let's say it could be something simple. Let's say boyfriend girlfriend got in an argument or whatever, something simple could happen, or things said, and then they get back together, and then they tell you, and then you go tell someone else, and then now that boyfriend done heard, and then now he's ready to break up because now the words got misconstrued, and they, once a word get passed on, it might change up a bit. Oh, this happened. Oh, they said this,
they
and
call
this.
that the grapevine or the daisy chain. But you know what? Let me tell you something. As far as people who normally go and talk about what's going on in their home, I was in a relationship before where, let me tell you something. This woman thought I was everything, the greatest thing since sliced bread. But whenever we went through issues, she would tell her friends about the bad stuff. Never tell them about the good stuff, only tell them about the bad stuff.
Yeah.
And so then every time I came around, her friends are like, oh, here, and I'm like, damn, your friends hate my guts. I never even did nothing to them. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. You just told them about the times that you was angry at me. You ain't tell them about all the good things and the good moments that we shared. You just told them the crap.
Because some people just waiting for your downfall, or them. Like I say this.
Your friends just gonna come to your rescue. Before you get started, I do want you to hit on your piece, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
This poem is called "The Stages of the Butterfly." I began to slither around unnoticed, careful with my movements to not surrender to the defeat of a lurking predator. In the beginning, I waited to be hatched, not knowing what to expect once I was allowed to be welcomed into a new position. I didn't have to.
Take your time. Take it from the top.
Let me start over. The stages of the butterfly. In the beginning, I waited to be hatched, not knowing what to expect once I was allowed to be welcomed into a new position. I began to slither around unnoticed, careful with my movements so that I didn't have to surrender to the defeat of a lurking predator. I hid. When it was safe, I fed off of what was needed for my survival, taking bits and pieces only to satisfy momentary gratification. I did not want it to be this way. I wanted to enjoy the energy from the sun. I wanted to belong, wanted to travel freely without fear of getting swallowed by the hunter. Each day I moved in quiet silence. Do not disturb circled in my head, cautiously as not to awake the hungry captor. Then one day I saw a chance to depart. Without hesitation I vanished, so it appeared. I became invisible to passerbys. As I waited for the right time to reveal my true identity, I remained in an undisclosed location until my transformation was complete. I wanted to undress sooner, but the process kept me enclosed, tightly sealed to protect me from exposure. I felt alone. I felt ostracized. I felt abandoned. I wanted to break free from the bondage that encapsulated me. After some time in isolation, the chains finally fell. I saw a glimpse of light. It was time. I slowly ripped the mummified contraption that held me secretly. I almost died to save my own life. It seemed endless, without purpose, until I saw the reflection of my own colors. I am free. Spread my wings. I am gone with the distant wind, flying, carrying freedom.
Fly like an eagle.
Thank you.
You have really good imagery and stuff in your writing.
I try to create rights in a way that people will create what they need for themselves, right? Like I might read this and I'll see it a different way, and someone else will read it and see it, interpret it their own way.
Yeah, I find that with performing and things of that nature myself. I think that art, much like beauty, much like art, is subjective. So words are subjective.
Definitely.
And people understand things to mean what they've learned they meant over time. I'm like, mean.
Well, that's why I love poetry, because everybody writes differently, and then everybody's own experience it'll come. I can't find the words. It'll come out like up in a different way, and so I've heard different types of poems, and each one can be relatable to who it's meant for, right? Like we write, and some people may like it, some people don't, but who it's meant for, they will really hear it and interpret it and then embody it and then take it for what they need it for.
Exactly. And I mean, I think that that's the best thing of all time. And I typically tell people, like, there was a piece that I wrote a long time ago, and I did it when I went to perform in Seattle, Washington. Yeah. And I mean, to this day, you never know how your words touch people, how your words, affect people. We all have these gifts that we're born with, and a lot of us make the mistake of thinking that the gift we were born with was meant for us, when in all actuality, that gift is meant for the world to see and the world to share. Your gift helps other people, not just you. And I think that people who are selfish with their gifts, eventually over time, through time.
No, definitely. Gifts are meant to be given, right? And I think on this journey of life, like a lot of us don't get to birth our gift because we are afraid. Maybe things happen, or we're not in a position to embrace it, and it can be a scary thing. Like we're constantly discovering, searching for who we are and our place in the world and what we have to offer. But like you said, if we dig deep enough, we know what our purpose is and what our gift is, and maybe we're afraid, maybe people are against it, but I think if you follow your that thing that makes you happy, right, that passion, and it'll touch the people again, it'll touch, and you know, just go at it like 100%, be committed to whatever it is. No, sometimes your gift is not going to make you a lot of money. That's not your purpose, right? You know, everything is not for monetary gain. But if your gift can help enhance the life of some people, you done left your mark, right?
Well, I mean, I think that most people worry about, you know, their mortality. They worry about what they leave behind, the impact that they make on the world. And a lot of us think that the impact that we need to make is like this big old splat, like cannonball into the pool and let it just, you know, saturate everything around it. They want to be that comet colliding with the earth and just and leaving this big plume of smoke that people around for miles and miles can see, when in all actuality, when we really think about it, the mark that you leave on this world, the mark that you leave behind when you're gone. What you say?
I was talking to myself.
Out loud?
Yeah, I
Scared the
was.
shit out of me. I thought my headphones was haunted. It didn't even sound like you. I was like, ghost. You made me forget the hell what I was saying.
I'm so sorry.
You know, let's just, now you can talk to yourself. Yo, Jesus. Yo, let me
I'm sorry. I talk to myself a lot.
let me tell you. I'm just going to say it is what it is. Let me tell you, I think that we all need to just honestly walk within our purpose. We all need to share, you know, the gifts that we were given. You know, we all need to be in a space and a place where other people can benefit off of what you have naturally been given. And I always tell people, your natural talent, honestly, is your purpose. Your natural talent is your purpose. And people typically think of talent as being able to play a sport or to sing or to dance or to paint. But those are not the only gifts that you get. You might have the gift of patience. You may have the gift of wisdom. I know I'm off subject, but this stuff is important. I did a live about this the other day. Like, your gift might be wisdom. Your gift may be the power to teach. You got what I'm saying? So a lot of times we need to understand exactly, you know, like what our gifts are so we can understand our purpose in life. And let me tell you, it's been my personal experience that when I walked in my purpose, man, so many things came to me. So many things came easily. But it's when I fight against my purpose and go after what I want and not necessarily what is a part of me, what is internal. You know what I mean? That's typically when things become a whole lot harder.
I definitely agree. Like, we do things sometimes because people tell us to do it, and not necessarily that brings us joy, or we know that, like, some people are great at like helping others, right? I think you may have said that, or drawing and stuff like that, and then you should do that. But then maybe someone else will tell you, like, I think our parents will tell us, you know, go to college and do this and that, and so you can build your life and do this and that. But maybe that's not what you feel like you have been put here on. So you follow.
You punching the monkey?
You're following this path that maybe someone taught you, and you see people go through this internal struggle a lot, and then they never get to live. Like, I used to listen to podcast. I can't think of the guy's name, but he said like 85% of people die without birthing their gift, realizing their truth gifts, because they're so busy maybe working this job because they got, granted you have to, but your gift will bring you, you know, what you need.
I want to check them stats out. You know, whenever somebody, not you per se, I'm talking about the gentleman who said that. Anytime somebody put out statistics out there, I always wondered to myself, are these bullshit statistics? Like, what I do know is that I think that a lot of people, they want to do something, but they're trying to wait to have enough money. They're
time.
trying to wait for the right time. They want to wait until the kids get older. We put all of these things in front of our dreams. We put all of these things in front of our purpose. And quite honestly, all it really does is leave us standing in place. And then when 45 years pass by, 50 years pass by, we sitting there regretting the fact that we didn't do this when we were younger.
Definitely. I believe in a lot of spiritual stuff, and like our internal conflict is because we're going against what we should naturally do. And so the internal conflict is creating these real life physical illnesses because we're not doing what we ought to do. Like even in my journey for myself, I was taught, oh, do this, go to school, went to school. I do want to help people. I believe that is my, gift for here, but not doing what I went to school for, or somebody told me to bake. So I did that for a little bit, but I wasn't happy. And so when I started to live and started building what I knew I was here for, through poetry and through, helping, I started feeling better, right? Like I was happier. I felt more at peace. And so I think when we start to do those things that bring us happiness, everybody's not going to agree with it, right? Maybe you like humming under trees, and that brings people around you. I mean, people may look at you crazy at first, but if you know that it's going to touch someone, and you feel like, God gave you this purpose, and so be it. Sometimes you may have to walk alone for a little bit, but you have to keep.
Let me tell you, most of the time in life, you're going to walk alone, especially when starting something new. But see, what we fail to realize is we're used to being familiar.
Yeah.
So we want familiar things around us. Well, most of the times, in order to really grow in anything, you have to leave behind what's familiar, and that will naturally fall away from you in a sense, and you will pick up more of what you need while you're on the way. It's kind of like if you're going to drive across country, right? Mm-hmm. So you'll pack some food or whatever, but it's never going to be everything that you need. So you took some stuff from home, and as you drive, you're going to have to wind up and stop at a store. Yeah. And you're going to have to pick up something new because the old stuff is no longer there. And you'll keep on driving, and then that stuff you had, you'll wind up throwing the paper away in the trash. You done ate whatever you needed to eat. You done got where you needed to go to your next destination. And now you got to stop and you got to, refuel and pick up more stuff. And that's kind of just the way life in general works. And it's not that you have to say the hell with your family. It's not that you have to say the hell with your friends, because some of those people will help you power your way to that next level. But there will be a lot of people that'll have their hands on you trying to hold you in place or trying to pull you down beneath them. You know what I mean? And we just got to recognize what that looks like. We got to recognize what, and I know we're so far off the topic.
Not
right
really
now.
though. It's relationships.
Really. We're
Kind of, but being who you are, like, can align you with the right person that you're supposed to be with. Being more comfortable with who you are will definitely do that. I think the more that we discover who we are, we'll sit down. You can make a visual list, but a mental list of like what you want and what you need, and when you start getting and someone start meeting of more of what you need, then you can build a great relationship off of that. Your wants is important, don't get me wrong, but wants to me is like a momentary, gratification. They can change, minute by minute. So are you going to, have your wants met and leave your needs dangling there, and then it constantly changing, and you find yourself, you might drive yourself crazy. So I think it's important that we definitely get what we need and then build a relationship, and then, go through, then you can get to the gender roles. Once you, build the relationship, okay, let's move in together, and then go from there.
That was fast.
Throw it in there.
It was really quick there. I don't know. So I want to take this opportunity to remind everybody that tomorrow at 5 17 Avenue of the States. The place is called Dream Event Space. I will personally be having an open mic event. Now, I'm going to ask you all to bring masks. I will have hand sanitizer. I'll be checking temperatures and everything as everybody comes in. I'm trying to get everybody to Cash App because we really don't want to have to exchange money with hands and everything else. It is what it is. We're trying to create a safe environment, for everybody to be in. I know a lot of people have been talking about these COVID shots. Some people are taking them, some people are not. Some people trust it, some people do not. You know what I mean? But there are things that we can do to always keep a safe environment, to lower our risk of exposure to things. And let me tell you how, even prior to this pandemic, man, we should always be washing our hands and things of that nature. You know what I mean? We just should. So there will be hand sanitizer and everything on the spot. I would like for people to use that and do what they need to do to feel safe. And so the people around them will feel safe as well. You got what I'm saying? So protect yourself. You can't really always control what other people do, but you can definitely protect yourself. You got what I'm saying? So if you do want to come out to that show, you will Cash App $10 to $ open mics. That's a capital O, a capital M on Cash App. If you, Also, I put my webpage up in the news feed. That is www.mindofthestorm.com. Also, you can go to YouTube. I just started this YouTube page, so don't judge me. Mindofthestorm.com on YouTube. I have 2 videos on there, but I'm working to do more, and I'm asking everybody to reach out and share these videos and share these things so that they can get out farther or whatnot. I am trying to reach as broad of an audience as I possibly can. You know what I mean? And it's really just sending good vibes. That's it. Just sending good vibes. So also, if you're not my friend on Facebook, please send a request to Michael Storm Miller on Facebook. I will accept you. Unless you don't have no picture, I won't accept you. If you're an African prince who's trying to hide $2 million from this regime that's trying to take over, I will not accept you. If you have big boobs, a thong, and a skinny bra on, I will not accept you, because I know that it's a whole new thing going on now too. I hate to be so far off track, but it's a whole new thing where people video call you. Like, I don't even get that. I had this African guy and girl video call me, and it was some young people too, and it was like, send me some money. Don't you want to help me? I'm like, what the heck? And I answered the video call just because. I don't even know why I answered it. I just answered it. I wasn't doing anything better with my time, so I figured I'd get him a hard way to go. And so I pulled out the money that was in my pocket, and I said, "You want this money?"
No, it's just a weird thing. Like I've gotten random calls from dudes. I'm tell a funny story. My sister last year got this call. She thought it was a girl, somebody she might have knew. So she answered the call, and this guy pulled out his junk. And I'm like, why would you answer the call? She was like, I was curious, but then like people are doing stuff like that. Like what is going through people's minds that you have the time to just sit there and then people will call at random times. Like I've gotten calls at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., first thing in the morning. Like what are you tracking when I hop on Facebook? Like just to call me?
Go to bed. Like,
that's just creepy. So you definitely have to be careful out there. It's a lot of.
Please do. Oh yeah, and let me also, this is way far off topic, but let me let y'all know, the IRS will never send you an email. The IRS will never call your phone number. Literally, they won't call you. Hell, it's hard to get them to answer the phone when you call them, but they will never call you. If they ever wanted to get in touch with you, they'll send a letter to your house.
Definitely.
You know, what I mean, they will never call you, never email you. So stop clicking on links. Stop talking to people who saying that you owe the IRS money. And my personal favorite is people call me, and if they say for me to verify who I am. I didn't call you. No, I'm not verifying anything. I bang on them, man. I don't care. It could be some legit shit. I just don't care. I'm not giving you no information.
Well, there are scams out there where they record your voice when you say yes or no, so they can do like fill out. It's
Well,
crazy that people
listen,
are doing stuff
I
like
don't
that.
even think that. I heard about some stuff like that, but
Yeah.
then I thought about it. I did some critical thinking, and I said to myself, so if somebody calls me from, let's say somebody called me to get me to say yes or no, where can they really use that at? It's no high tech. This ain't freaking, what's them show, CSI? Because that shit ain't even real. This ain't, they don't have some voice synthesizer that the credit card company uses or something. So all they got to do is pick it up and say, hi, are you Michael Miller? And then click, yes. They don't have my voice on file. It don't work that way. So let me tell y'all something. Be safe with your information. I know right now everybody probably looking at me like, what the hell? How did we get here from there? But that's only because I even tried to pull us back. And I told Christina, I'm like, we so far off topic. She was like, no, we not. And she just kept moving. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm being hijacked. I don't know. So what I will do is, because we got about 13 minutes left if the clock is right. If the clock is not right, somebody finally, oh no, the clock is fast. We got about 15 minutes. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take and give you these 5 minutes to talk about the topic, how you feel about it, some final thoughts, and also to toss in any pertinent information that you feel you need to say.
Okay.
And go.
So gender roles are definitely for me, you know, there's just certain things just for me personally I expect, but there shouldn't be like, it definitely should be talked about in a relationship. If you're like at that space in your relationship, most of the time when you're living together or even not living together, you know, the conversations is important so that you don't get disappointed in the relationship. Like for me, you know, if I'm with a guy, I expect the trash to be taken out if you see it overflowing. Or if you don't, because maybe some people just don't notice that and I'll ask you and you don't catch no attitude. But definitely have that conversation. It'll prevent, you know, getting angry in the long run. And depending on your situation, if one person is at home and another person is working, it should be, you know, I don't want to necessarily your job, but maybe you should contribute to the household, take care of the household while this other person's working. It shouldn't be a man or a woman thing, though. Like a woman could be out working and busting her butt, then the man is, you know, I guess expected to take care of the home. But definitely those things should be discussed, and there shouldn't be no like argument about it. When you're together with someone, especially if you're building a life with them and you're in a relationship, nothing is more important than the other. We're building us together, we're building our home together, and so we should take care of each other in our home and nourish each other in our, and watch each situation flourish. I believe in monthly conversations to see where you're at and, you know, maybe your expectations of the relationship and where do you see it going at. Without conversation, you have no idea of what the other person is expecting of you, and you don't know what is expected of them. And, you know, sometimes expectations can be can damage a relationship, especially if you expect one person to do something and they're not. Definitely in the beginning, don't, you know, waste years, because I have and the I don't want to say wrong relationship. I think everything is a lesson, but don't waste time, especially if you do expect or require certain things and that person is not meeting them. But definitely, you know, when you really love and care about someone, there shouldn't be, no, oh, you do this and I do this and that's that. No, we should do definitely things. If you see something on the floor, pick it up, right? You don't sit there and get yourself angry because you thought this person was going to do that. Maybe they were tired, but they cooked dinner for that night. Just grow together in a relationship. Continue to make sure you have those conversations. Make sure you bond. Make sure you check in. Make sure you keep your relationship between each other, because outsiders will definitely can damage your relationship. And just work on growing as individuals and as a couple as well. And that is my 2 cents.
That was like $12.50.
It's 4 minutes.
You said it was your 2 cents. I said it was like $12.50.
$20.99.
There you go. So, let me tell you, I can't honestly ever say that I truly believed in gender roles. There are some things that I feel like I need to do, and they're my responsibility, but I can't say that I feel like I need to do these things because I'm a man. Yeah. I feel like I need to do these things because I'm a human being, and the human being that I am says to me that, well, okay, the way that I love, I don't want you to touch the trash. I would rather take out the trash. I would probably get upset if you touched it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I should be doing that. But is it because you're a woman? I don't know. I pretty much feel like it's because I am the person that I am. As far as like people saying, oh, you take off your clothes and you throw them on the floor and I got to pick them up or whatever, or walking over top of, let me tell you something. We're all different kinds of people. We all live differently. The chances are if people got bad habits, they're going to maintain those bad habits. You can say something about it. They may change, they may not, but it's more often than not, they won't. You know what I mean? They just won't. People are typically like who they are. And the older we get, the more we become locked in to certain things. You know what I mean? We feel like we have certain entitlements. And I think the older we get, the more entitled we become. What makes sense to us makes sense to us. And hell, maybe the thought process is, hey, I've been around this long. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't expect people to change much. I just expect people to be who they are. Who I am, if it matches up, it matches up. You know, that's just the way it is. You know, should I automatically be expecting a woman to do something because she's a woman? No, I don't think so. I just expect you to be a decent human being. You know, I expect you to care about my wants and needs because I'm going to care about yours. I think that I just want it to be a reciprocating thing. I think that relationships are very sustainable when we choose to step outside of thinking that you should be doing this because of this. Like, for instance, the man that I am, I'm a protector. So yeah, if somebody came to try to harm or whatever, I don't expect for you to jump up and punch somebody out. I'm going to do that. But let me tell you something. If you know karate, if you got a Mike Tyson punch, you know, hey, maybe you the right woman for the job. You know, that's just, and despite how I feel, you got a stronger punch. But if you did, to me, it's just logical you go and knock a motherfucker out. You know, if you shoot better than me long range, you know, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm a man, so I can shoot farther than you. Shit just doesn't work that way. I think gender roles are ridiculous. I mean, it's things that women can do that men can't. Like, I can't push a baby out. I think looking for equality in things, which is, I think, what life should truly be. We should all be on the same scale, and our relationships should be carved out depending on, you know, our needs and how we view life and what we want to get out of life and get out of our partners, and not so much off of a blueprint that been set before us way before we came along. I think that we should be deciding how our relationships look. Definitely. So if that means that you're going to be with, if a woman is going to be with a man that is staying home and doing the dishes, that's just freaking fine. Mm-hmm. It's fine. You know, we got to stop trying to live up to other people's standards. Now, before we go this evening, which I think we have like 7 minutes, I'm going to leave it open for you to do a small piece if you want. You got something
Small?
short?
I do.
Sure, you definitely get down and do something short. I want to remind everybody that I am having an event tomorrow, 517 Avenue of the States. It's the Old Soul Street Lounge. If you live in Chester, it's the Old Soul Street Lounge. That's where it's going to be at. But now it's under new management. It is called Dream Event Space. We will be in a building. We have food's going to be in the building. We're going to have beverages in the building. Comedians, Drink Like a Lady will be there. Definitely. Let Me Cater to You is doing the food. Listen, come out. We're going to have a good time. And like I said, we got hand sanitizer. You know, we taking care of everything. So come through. If you're a performer, signing open mic, all you have to do is send $10 to $Open Mics, capital O, capital L, on Cash App. And that will be your entry fee. And Christina, take it away.
Okay. This poem is called P.S. I know what I need. I know what I want. I still cry on my pillow. I thought I found it. I was mesmerized. Less had me thinking I was in love. Was it love? Did I want love? Did love want me? It just wasn't the right time. I wanted to rewind time to start over. Just got caught in repeated scenes. I feel it. I smell it. I can taste it. I dream about it. I see it. Somehow I still can't have it for myself. All of it. Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Love totally. Is it too much to ask? Should I walk by again? Should I just wait until I walk along the beach to see the sunrise? Breakfast in bed. Is it just a fantasy? Should I trust my instincts, listen to my head, follow my heart? I don't want to get lost again. Last time GPS had me in the wrong direction. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to stay here. Why can't it be that simple? A lonely ride home. I'm tired. Can you wake me up when love is ready? I'll be waiting. Until then, I'll drift off into my dreams. That's the only way that I can feel without losing myself. Love is real. I feel it. I fell for it. I embody it. Why can't love love me, you know, the way that I love love? P.S. I'm still waiting for your return. Thank you.
That was a beautiful poem. So I'm going to take this opportunity to first off say thank you very much for coming out and joining me this evening on Open Minds Cafe Love. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Northern Marketing, Mecca, Mind Our Own Business, LeBron Construction, KC Electric, Boys and Girls Club of Chester, Pressure Inc., TFG Tax Pros, and Abstract Kings. So those are the sponsors of this station. Let me see. I always check out that time. So I'm going to do a really quick piece as well, and then we're going to get up out of here. And the quickest piece I got is, so when you and I first met, you said, we. Now, isn't that what you told me? No more you or I, just us with no tears to cry. Now just waves of deception. With every false hope, we find a new lesson to learn, like walking through fire, you're sure to get burned. Reduced to ashes with no way to return back to we. Lost within caverns of deception, you see there's no discretion when we open up our mouths and speak. Pride is so strong, and maybe that's what make our love so weak. But who's to blame for the present state of mistakes that led us up to this point? I mean, hell, Milli Vanilli had blamed it on the rain. So should we just do the same and blame it on what should be? I mean, should we act like we don't even involve you and me, but two other lovers in which time forgot? You see, the intricate plot that we have here is getting old. In the beginning, we were the envy of all love stories ever told, but now we're like that coldest hour before winter's dawn break, burdened with an inevitable tomorrow which only God could negate. But if we could rewind back the hands of time and take back all of the lies and go back to that day before we met, would we do it all again? Find a way to fuck this up and become lovers before we become friends. I promise you, the end result will always be this. So now I guess that leaves we as you and I. Please join us every Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Open Mics Cafe Live, CMPRadio.net. It's the station. And also, if you have not went to the CMP page and liked the page, please like us, please follow us, help us get our numbers up even higher. Make sure when you stop through to watch or whatnot, just share it to your page. You ain't necessarily got to be in people inboxes with it, but share the videos and things like that you see to kind of drive traffic our way and get these views up a little bit more on this show and any show you watch. Also, every Monday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., Storm and Uncle P and Storm for Word Up. Come out and join us. I'm just trying to remember everything. And don't forget, if you didn't get your ticket, I'm starting to fill up, so you might want to get your ticket so you can come through to the show tomorrow. That's $ Open Mics, capital O, capital M on Cash App. And don't forget to visit my webpage, www.mindofthestorm.com. And I think that's all. Always find a reason to smile, always find a reason to laugh. It's way too much bullshit going on in this world. I love you.
Bye.
Wow, because you keep on grinding, people wanna see you fail, and although you fall, just move on. Crabs in a barrel, want what you have, try to pull you down. Don't wanna work, just wanna take. They also pay.